What's up, Zox fam? And we're back with some more Wuthering Waves. Now, we're going to be dissecting and taking different components of the game and looking at them individually to give you guys the most information that I could possibly give you on each of these different topics. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at skills, everything relevant to it, how you obtain the resources, how you go about scaling up, and what exactly are you even looking at in the first place. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Now, the first thing is we're going to have to go here to the Wutheride Forte. Now, this is really important because this is where you're going to be able to level up your skills. Now, I want to kind of break these down to be able to indicate and differentiate what exactly you're going to be investing in and what you're looking at, right? So you'll notice that this giant node right here, this is going to be the ultimate. Now, this is called Triumphant Long, and this is going to be something that you'll be able to invest in a little bit more once you obtain more upgrade points. Now, the thing is that when you're looking around this specific larger node, and this is the largest node, you'll notice that there's some what I would call like second to largest nodes, and these are going to be nodes that are your skills themselves. So outside of your ult, these are your actual skills. Now, I will say from your ult to your regular skills, these are going to be things that all have levels attached to the bottom, so that's another visual indication. But also when you look at them, they'll have different breakdowns of like the abilities. So when you're looking at these, it's important to note that you are going to need to use resources. So let's actually look at another character real quick so I can show you that. So if you're looking at my Mortify, for example, if we click upgrade, you're going to need all these respective resources to be able to upgrade the effect, reduce cooldown, increase damage, whatever it might be relevant to the skill, right? Now, the other thing is that when you level a skill, you'll gain something called skill points. And these skill points are really, really nice because when you're going to these much smaller nodes, these are what I'm calling sub nodes. They don't require any materials. They only require skill points. So as you're leveling your larger nodes for your regular skill and for your ultimate, you will then be able to use those corresponding skill points to be able to bring up the value of those smaller nodes. Now, the other thing too, guys, is that if you don't level a node prior to another node, so for example, if you're trying to level this node, right? You can't unlock or level this node until you level this one, right? So there is no skipping around. You have to do these things in order for you to be able to get to that next corresponding node. Now, again, the other thing worth noting here as well is that as the nodes traverse upward, they are going to cost more skill points. So that's another thing that will also come with the more that you invest into your individual resonators, right? So it says upgradable at resonator rank 3. So this means ascension 3, or when you're taking your character up to the next level cap, this is going to be something that unlocks and you can invest more resources into. Now, how important are skill ups going to be? Now, I think that skill ups are going to be very important because this is going to allow you, even at much lower levels and values, to be able to do a lot more damage percentage-wise with your skills. Now, when you take a look here, it actually will show you the different values and things as you're leveling them up, but when you're also upgrading them, they'll also show you the values as well. And I think that these components are going to be a huge, huge thing when you're looking at how can you make your character stronger outside of just purely gearing them. So skill ups are definitely going to be really, really important, or skills in general are going to be really, really important. So I definitely don't think this is something you want to overlook. Now, let's actually talk about a couple of different ways that you can obtain these resources. Now, one of the cool functionalities that they actually have set in the game is that you're able to actually obtain these resources via tracking. So like, for example, let's go to my Geon. And let's say we are trying to take up a skill here. Actually, let's use Mortify because I know I don't have some of his skills, right? So if we click here and we go to Origin, and then we go to either the dungeon that you want to obtain it from, you can either click and track that, or if you're looking for one that is requiring you to kill a specific unit, one of the cool functionalities that they have set in the game is if you hit that tracker, it will actually give you the opportunity to track this unit on the map. So here, you'll see that it's saying Glacial Predator, and I'm actually right near one. Now, the other cool functionality with this is that if you kill that enemy, it will have another corresponding Glacial Predator pop on the screen, and then you could just continuously farm those until you actually obtain all of the corresponding resources you need. Now, that I would say is a huge W in my opinion, but that's not even the only thing and the only place that you can actually obtain those resources. Now, the other place you can obtain these is in the joint exchange. And I think it's important to note that the joint exchange actually has some of the higher tier versions of the resources you're going to need to be able to bring your characters up. So for example, you might have noticed that I showed you the lower tiered version of the high frequency Taser Crux, but this is going to be the higher version, and this is where the shells that you're collecting kind of come into play. So here you have the oscillated shell horn, and this is going to be another component that I definitely feel like a lot of players are going to want to probably take advantage of on a monthly basis, because this is going to give you accessibility to different, I would say, lower tiered versions of the resources that you need to be able to bring the characters up. So for example, one that I ended up purchasing a decent amount of was like the medium grade leader nameplate. This was for me to be able to invest into my Jian skills, at least for the first corresponding rank. And then you'll notice here, if I actually haven't finished them. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is for the second rank. This is for the first rank. And they do these in a grouping of 3, which is actually really nice, because that means that, you know, instead of you having to go and kill 3 of these leaders, you can actually buy a stack of 3. And that's the equivalent value of you going and have killing 3 of these at a normal or a common drop rate, right? So that is something that I really, really did appreciate that they had added into the game. Now, other things that you can also, or other places I would say you can also obtain these from, is if you go to, for example, here, we can go back to the map. Some of the other resources you'll be able to get from like daily dungeons. So if you take a look here, this is one of the daily dungeons that I was also utilizing for my Jian. You just have to find the corresponding or the respective one for you to be able to invest into whichever character you're trying to build. But this again is a resource that is only obtainable like a specific day. But these are things that you will have unlocking a little bit later on that you really want to invest into. I don't think that it's advisable to invest into them right away. Like if you're like, oh, I need to invest in this right now. I don't think that that's the smartest thing. I think reasonably you should be able to get through all of the story components within the closed beta at the recording of this video. And then towards like the end of your progression with the story component that they at least have in this current update, then you can go and start focusing on these things so that you can get more out of your character. So with that, guys, that is just some of the things that they have currently when you're looking at skills. I do think that skills are going to be obviously really, really important. Even doing these dailies are going to be absolutely like tremendous in terms of you being able to be successful at raising your characters, right? And even the dungeons themselves, which I will have you guys take a look at this. Like the dungeons themselves are actually like pretty fun. These kind of like go into in-game content, so it's really, really important. But outside of that, guys, that's going to be that for everything relevant to skills. My take on this is that this is obviously something they can continue to build upon. And you really are going to want to invest into these skills because it really is going to allow your character to be more efficient at what they are efficient at, right? So that's going to be that with this one, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and let me know what other topics you want to see covered. So stay blessed, stay charged up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.